This is a very interesting game between Eugen and Mikołaj. Really useful to watch this review. Eugen was black, Mikołaj was white. And here we will talk about the direction of play, mostly, about what is worth saving and what not. This push is not recommended. This push you play only if you plan to keep pushing and create a big wall, but accept losing center. For example, right now white can play elsewhere. But if you don't want, then just leave it. Just leave it like this. And maybe later in the future you will rather play this move. If white answers, it's better to have this knight's move than a push. This push is a slight mistake. Then black peeped, all right. Here comes the first fight. Black invades white's area, and black is looking at a weakness in white's shape. If white doesn't react, black can go through and cut. It feels a bit necessary to add a move so that black doesn't play the Atari in center, but then black can capture white in the ladder, or if the ladder doesn't work, then black can enclose white. Indeed, there is a weakness. But white can probably protect this weakness simply by pushing up. If now black cuts, the fight is maybe a bit unclear, but it looks questionable for black. Yeah, it doesn't look good for black. So white can simply push up. If black plays here, maybe push once more. But here comes a different question. Yeah, there is a weakness, a little bit of weakness in white's shape, but not that much. White can rather easily secure this. But is this an interesting area to play at in the first place? It's not very wide. The top side is a little bit wider, but also it's not good for making a moyo for white because black is strong from the top. So even if white plays from here, black will be able to play from the other side. So there is not that many points to be taken. More importantly, when black goes in, black uses a weakness in this shape of white, but other than that weakness, white's group is strong. White is alive in the corner, and the group on the other side is also very, very much alive. So there is not much point in invading because we don't split groups which we can later attack. We want to invade mostly when we can actually annoy our opponent by splitting their stones. Yeah, so instead of playing on the bottom side, it's better to play on the top side. There the side is a bit wider, but very importantly, black has a huge potential for a moyo in the top right quarter of the border. So this would have been a correct move, or maybe play the shoulder hit. Yeah, but like this, white shouldn't answer from this side, because why should we play from stones which are already completely alive? We should play from the stones which are weaker. So even this move would be better than the move from the game, but probably it's best to play something like this, or probably this push to protect against the cut in a dynamic way, active way. Now black went for the cut, and this was too early. We should have jumped, and maybe if white doesn't protect now, then later we can try to use it. Probably white pushes up, and then maybe we can hane and still use the weakness in white's shape later. So if now white doesn't care about this, then there will be a problem. So white needs to play very carefully and not very actively. Yeah, so this would be a good idea for black, but black goes for the cut immediately. And then white, it would seem that white needs to play this move, which gives black a strong shape on the outside. But instead, white connected. This was a very interesting idea, and I think a good one, because black got a very pleasant exchange, yes, forcing white into an empty triangle, but then black ends up being forced to make life just on the second line, crawling on the second line in a non-interesting area. So in the end, it's not really great for black, because black started the fight in a non-interesting area. And then it was just very easy for white to choose the correct direction of play, force black, give black what black wanted. Yes, if you want, take that bottom side, and I take the outside. So white was happy with this result. And this again was probably not a very big move, because even if white continues, black is already alive. Even if white plays one more move, black is already alive. So this was too slow by black. Then white played Atari, which was also a bit slow, especially given that potentially we might have some chance to connect or try to connect with the other stones. But yeah, well, maybe it's a bit risky, but then maybe better to play a knight's move. I don't know. This move is very steady, also powerful. It would be strongest to play some invasion right now. But yeah, but maybe it's an unnecessary risk, so white simply took the profit, and then black played a good move, securing his shape on the left side. Now white takes the big spot. This is a correct move. Black plays from the top, trying to build a huge framework. Good. And then jumps. Yes, it makes sense. It would be also a good idea to keep pushing against white. It's difficult for white to ignore this type of play, because later there is a cut and a ladder. But if white adds a move, maybe black pushes again, and well, maybe later plays something around here. So this is on the border of two territorial frameworks, of black and of white, and that's why it's a very, very valuable move. Right now, white could have played here otherwise, instead of black, though it consolidates black's area a bit, so maybe not, maybe better to invade. And white decided to invade with this technique. This is a good technique. I think it would be also good to invade somehow like this. It should be not very difficult to make live. But in the game, white goes for this sequence. And now, yeah, black extended and white decided to go down, because indeed there is a problem in white's shape. This looks questionable for white, this fight. So yeah, maybe white is forced. But if white is forced to do it, then probably it was better to descend from the first place. You should know that generally in this shape there are two possible moves, and both of them are very often played in professional games. Here. Yes. And then black gets the advantage in the fight on the right side. So right now, how to think about this result? It feels that white is now forced to somehow take care of these three stones, but it also feels bad because black is so strong here and here and here. How can we fight there? But this is a wrong look at the position, wrong judgment. White already get into black's corner quite much, even got this descent, which lets white later wipe black's corner in the end game. So already white got a lot from this fight, and now white shouldn't be too much emotionally involved in the fate of these three stones. They don't need to be saved. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine what happened. White could have maybe used a different idea, different technique, for example, this one. But then you see, actually, black gets even a bigger corner. So I guess a little bit bigger than in this variation. So this variation is good. And it's not because now black is split and we can fight. Maybe we cannot fight. There is some energy of these three stones, but we shouldn't play from them and try to save them by all means. White unfortunately did it, and then black played from the top, which was a good decision. And now white has very little space on the inside to live with these stones. Probably they should die. So in the end, they do die, and black gets a lot of points. Now, white should have realized that the stones don't need to be saved, and white should have played from the outside. In other games, maybe black could think of splitting white. But right now, this would be very risky for black because there is this agi of the cutting stones, and black might be in trouble with his 5-stone group. So thanks to the agi, black will be probably forced to answer in a calm way, and this is another profit that we have thanks to that technique. Then white can simply proceed by building a territorial framework. But when it happened this way, black went back to the game. Right now, black is maybe not bad because black gained a lot. And now white starts attacking black. Maybe this move looks a bit desperate. Like white is now trying to attack the group because white has just died. We would rather expect maybe a move from the outside because the group of black is very difficult to attack, and maybe white should rather think about building his territorial framework. But when white plays here, white tries to take away the base, and then what should black do? In the game, black played from the top. This is actually a good move, but then continued by splitting white from the group on the bottom. And this was a very bad idea because then white anyway saved his stones, but saved them by connecting them to his territorial framework. And now maybe this stone even will end up being captured, and white can get much more than before. What black should do was this move. Actually, white cannot even cut off black stone because white dies. So white would be forced to connect on the second line, and then black got stronger shape and sente, very importantly sente, which can be used to further strengthen the group and at the same time decrease white's potential on the top. This would be a very good result for black, and that's why this move must be called a mistake, this move of white. It doesn't achieve much good. White should rather play on the top. But black now played from the wrong direction of play. How can we detect that this is not the move that we should play? Well, because we end up splitting a group which will now easily manage its way, and the group which is completely strong and alive. And also we are not making any base. We are getting stones towards where? We are just decreasing white's territory by 5 points. That's much less interesting than letting white connect here on the second line and building a group towards the top side. So this was an unfortunate choice by black, and now white continues building a big territorial framework. Probably black should have played here and go up. Maybe white can capture black with this move, but still black should understand that the correct direction of play is going towards the upper side. Maybe push once more, later Atari, or if white answers, then go towards the upper side. In the game, black lets white get yet another move, then plays this cut. This was good, but unfortunately for black, there is nothing black can do on the side. White was very smart to connect on the outside and not play this Atari, which would give black a good shape on the outside. Yes, this is really very painful that nothing works here. Maybe black should still try his luck. Maybe black can do something. Though I think that if white plays correctly, it should be possible for white to prevent any trouble. So black keeps running, and white uses the attack to build the top side. This is a very good direction of play by white. And right now, just add one more move and close this beautiful, huge box, and white is very good in this game. But white got a bit crazy while attacking black's group, and kept putting pressure even though it doesn't really work. I mean, what is white's plan? Cut through like this? Well, maybe, but then black can go through the other side. And in the game, yeah, black well, white had two problems. This problem and that problem, so black simply captured the cutting stones. This was not a success for white. But still, the game will be very good for white if white just goes for consolidating the top side territory. In the game, though, white tried to get some profit in center. And well, it was just not needed. At this point, white should certainly count points. White has for 7 times 9, it's 63 minus a few, it's like 60, 70, 85, 95 plus Komi. White has over 100 points. And black has how many? Let's count. 10, 20, 35, let's say 45, 55, 60. White has 140 points difference. So even if black manages to somehow live in the corner, let's say that black made life in the corner, and then by some mistake there was no call, black just lived, and even afterwards black managed to get a few additional points, probably still white is better in this game. So the game is very good, very easy to win, but for that you need to count points. If you don't count points, you can make bad mistakes which will make the game difficult, complicated for you. So for example, even here black could have taken this chance to try to attack white's group as a whole, and well, white connects everything, but it's not completely clear whether white can make life. This is some chance for black. In the game, black splits white, but then still white plays a bit too ambitious moves, and black could have just enclosed white, and again it might become quite risky for white. Black wasn't so severe, unfortunately, but then white makes another mistake. So here white can simply play the big move, but instead white tries to go create a cutting point. I don't really know what for, because it's gote, but then black takes this opportunity to cut off white stones and ends up in center. So this was a big success for black, and black not only gained like 10 or 15 additional points on the right side, but also finished in center and now cuts white. And then the game becomes not very obvious anymore, but white managed this final fight well. Now the other agi gets activated, but then white finds time to play this Hane. Very, very important move. Maybe there was nothing, in fact, which black could do, but anyway, it was a good try by black, and it was all a bit risky for white. Maybe black should now try to start with something unexpected and only then continue. Then a fight which doesn't work might start to work. If you read a variation, it doesn't work for you, think if there is no surprising exchange which you can insert before going into that variation and which will make the variation work for you. In the game it went like this, and black actually here strange things started to happen. So black found a possibility to live in the corner. So this is very valuable, but I think that the game should be still good for white if white simply encloses black, although the loss earlier was quite big. But then white went crazy and tried to kill black's group, letting black run towards the outside, and a few moves later white resigned, because indeed black lived on a very, very large scale. Unfortunate that it all finished like this. Here, by the way, silly mistake by black. It was possible to capture and then to play here. This is answered by this, and this move is answered by this. This is answered by this. White is all alive, but anyway, black managed to win the game after all. Well, thanks to this cut. White fought well, but in the end there was an agi in the corner and white couldn't keep it in control. Very, very interesting game. A few mistakes from each side, and very important to think what is the correct direction of play when you choose from which side to play, how to attack the group, and so on, or whether to run or not. Yeah, so this is it about the game. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next season. Bye bye.